So I was hard pressed to think about ways that I could cover this without being offensive to the writer who wrote this. It's really difficult because they have written something that is so far from being a game review. I honestly am questioning what happened at Wired. Was there some sort of oversight from the legal committee about publishing this, in my opinion, very libelous opinion piece? This is a hit piece. This is not a game review. This is a hit piece, pure and simple. And then I was like, well, maybe the writer is some, prominent game reviewer for Wired, and because of that, they have a little bit of clout, and that allows them to write about things with authority. But then someone pointed out that if you go and look through the bylines, which we'll get to later in the article, there's not a lot of game reviewing done by the individual in question. We'll talk about it later. And then there's the fact that if you go through this article, which we're going to do in this video, there's like nothing about the game. It's all opinions. You don't believe me? Let's just dive in right now. So first and foremost, they talk about how the game is mid at best, and it somehow is doing real world harms, which are impossible to ignore. So when I hear real world harms, I'm like, what? Like the war in Ukraine, that's real world harm. Like that's a travesty. That's a thing. Inflation, that's a thing. Like real world issues doing harm to people, losing their jobs and their livelihoods and forced out of their homes and because of inflation, because of wars and famine and drought. And all, that's real world harm. A video game, it doesn't cause harm, everybody. A video game cannot cause harm. A piece of art cannot cause harm. It's a piece of art, and you can have opinions about art. Absolutely, you can have opinions. You can even be offended by a piece of art. I will absolutely say that right here in public. You can be offended. You have the right to be offended. But what you don't have the right is to claim that supporting a piece of art is somehow harming other people when you are the one person who is offended and not the masses. Just an opinion. Because I'm allowed that, right? Because you're allowed your opinion, I'm allowed my opinion. Yeah. All right, let's dive into this. The review here that they left, this opinion piece, claims that the game is a 1 out of 10. It says the story is rooted in anti-Semitic tropes, the gameplay feels dated, the graphics feel like they're a couple generations behind. Neither one of those are true. If you read the reviews from the vast majority of the internet, most people are saying what an amazingly beautiful game this is, how fun it is. It's the number one most played Twitch game ever. It's breaking Steam charts. It's breaking all these records, and all of these records were being broken before it had even launched yet. And now that it's officially getting out there, it's making even bigger waves, and it's crazy. This game is becoming a universally beloved game for how fun it is, despite the fact that there's a vocal minority who are rising up in arms against it. So they talk about how all the characters are one-dimensional, doesn't stay true to established lore. Every character feels like an off-brand version. There's no sense of place, no magic, no heart. Every time someone tries to claim that something isn't true to the established lore, I always shake my head because you are not the creator of established lore. Therefore, you cannot define what is established lore. Only the author can. J.K. Rowling is the only person who can make that claim. So I always chuckle when I see people try to make this. It's the same argument that people who are upset about Rings of Power. Oh, it's not the established lore. Well, are you J.R. Tolkien? Are you, Disney's Star Wars isn't Star Wars, doesn't follow established lore. Are you George Lucas? Are you the people who own the Star Wars intellectual property? These are the kind of things you have to think about. Like, if we're not the creators or the owners of the intellectual property, we don't get to make the claim that something is or isn't established lore. Food for thought. But let's get away from opinions for a minute and let's see, is this article actually a piece of game journalism? Because if it is, it should talk about the game, right? Like if they're making these claims at the beginning, then this article should cover the game in some way, shape, or form, right? So let's read through here very quickly. I'm not going to read through all this because you can take your time and read through it at your leisure. It is a eyebrow raiser to be sure. So paragraph 1, nothing about the game. Paragraph 2, nothing about the game. Paragraph 3, nothing about the game. Paragraph 4, nothing about the game. Instead, we have 4 paragraphs all about the writer of this article and their background and different things about, Harry Potter and etc. Paragraph 5, nothing about the game. Paragraph 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. 10 and 11, these two paragraphs here, we get a little bit about the game. They feel that the art is lackluster. Okay. They feel that the characters are one-dimensional. They don't like the score. The world feels lifeless. Character models and facial animations feel absent. And the characters are animated but don't feel alive. So in paragraphs 10 and 11 here, right? That's the right count here. I'm going to double check this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Paragraphs 10 and 11, we talk about the game. Paragraph 12 says that the story is rooted in anti-Semitism because of a global cabal that's trying to end slavery. But that's bad because the slaves like being slaves. Okay. Okay, so it says Hogwarts, but doesn't feel like Hogwarts. So that's paragraph 12. So far we're 12 paragraphs in, and only 3 paragraphs have mentioned something about the game, very briefly. But then the final says the game feels like it was put together to tap the eager nostalgia of fans without any intention to actually make it worth playing. For that reason alone, I can't in good conscience recommend spending your money on it. Combined with who this game helps and who it harms, well, it's definitely not worth it unless your goal is to cause harm. All right, full stop. Because that right there is the rhetoric that's been being spun out by the vocal minority about how somehow participating in enjoyment of this video game is causing harm to other people, and if you choose to support this game, that you're doing harm. I just don't agree with that at all. Like that is a load of malarkey in my mind. Absolutely a load of malarkey. You can be offended by whatever you want to be offended by, but don't try to dictate what other people can and can't enjoy in their lives. That's a line that we're not going to cross, right? We're just not going to cross that. So here we are, 12 paragraphs in, 13, 14. That's the 13th paragraph right there. 14th paragraph is talking about how we see the same things in the Wizarding World films. 15th paragraph talks about the new movies being bad morally and qualitatively, saying that they're not fun to watch. Actually, my wife and I completely disagree with you there. We love the new movies. The IP owner is trying to wring any remaining semblance of life from a franchise, all but poisoned by its owner. Oh my God. So hang on. 12, 13, 14, 15 paragraphs in, and we still only have 3 paragraphs about the game. 16, calling Rowling a bigot. 17, oh, this one also makes me chuckle, claiming that the LGBTQIA plus people and genuine allies are some of the best creative minds in the world, and films and games made largely without them are lacking because they don't have those people involved. Okay? So I keep going back because I lose track. That's 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Hang on. I'm trying to see if this paragraph 18 has anything to do about the game. Nope. 19. 19 paragraphs of this opinion piece, and only 3 of them have anything to do with the game. And even then, they only talk about how this reviewer thinks that the graphics are outdated, the music's uncompelling, and she doesn't like the storyline because she feels it's anti-Semitic and the characters are one-dimensional. So, that's out of the way, right? That is not a review of a game. You have almost 20 paragraphs that talk about how J.K. Rowling's a bigot and all of these political issues and things. You claim this game is doing harm. You claim people who support this game are doing harm. All these other things. This has nothing to do with the video game. None of that has anything to do with the game. That is all opinion, 100% opinion. There is no way, shape, or form that this is a game review. This is a hit piece. Now, again, I'm going to preface the next section by saying I wish no ill will against the person in question. However, I do think it's worth pointing out that I thought that the writer would have some sort of game journalism credits to be qualified to make a judgment call of giving this game a 1 out of 10. You go over to their byline page, and they say that they are a reviewer, writer, a product writer and reviewer at Wired. So their number one task is reviewing products. So covering coffee, sex tech, and gaming. Okay. So here's a game, Hogwarts Legacy. How many? I'm going to scroll down here very quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. There's 20 on this page. How many games are there on this page? One. I think there's two. There's the Harry Potter one, and then there's a thing about the top 10 games for the Xbox, I think, somewhere in here. There it is right there. 10 great Xbox games. So out of 20 articles, we see two that have to do with gaming. What are the rest? Best vibrators for everyone. Yes, even men. 7 great Valentine's Day deal on vibrators and suction toys. Okay. Sex tech. Best coffee subscriptions, sex tech deals, camera gear, automated espresso, weighted blankets, messenger and crossbody bags, lube, why you should be using more lube, a USB article, another sex toy, sexy gifts for your lovers, best Cyber Monday sex toy deals, best Cyber Monday deals on coffee gear, best sex toys for everyone, mechanical keyboards, best gifts for the PC gamer. This one might be able to be qualified as a gaming, but it's more like gear. So this one's a PC piece, um, camera. So that's 20. What's the next page show? Gear, gear. Oh, here's another gaming piece. That's a that feels like the same one that was written earlier. Okay. Coffee deal, coffee, headsets, coffee, headsets, VR headsets, PlayStation 5. Great sex deals, sex toys and tower fans. Okay. So Memorial Day deals on sex tech. Okay. So this individual, this writer in question, does a handful of gaming pieces here and there. But most of their reviews, with just me scrolling through right now, I would say I'm going to make an off the cuff judgment call. I don't have math numbers to support this. I'm just saying it looks like probably 60% of the reviews that this person has written are about sex toys. Maybe another 25% is about coffee and tech gear related to PCs and etc. And then the other 5% is actually there was what, two gaming articles here, one for the Xbox and one for the PS5. The rest were about hardware. So we have two gaming pieces out of, like, I don't know, 40 pieces that we looked at. So anyway, I, again, people whose reviews tend to carry weight, at least in my opinion, are people who professionally review games, and that's all they do is review games. If your primary forte is reviewing sex toys and coffee and tech stuff, I'm okay with that, even given that you do have some game reviews, right? Other than your game reviews aren't really reviews of game, they're more like lists of games. So I don't know. I'm not attacking this person at all. I think for me, the blame lies with Wired for allowing this to be published, because this is not a game review, everybody. This is a hit piece. This is absolutely, in my mind, a libelous piece of content. And I have no idea how this got through, if it's going to be allowed to remain up or not. It's difficult to read because we're getting into territory where the journalistic integrity of publications is going out the window in favor of culture war and these political viewpoints of people who are absolutely not giving an unbiased take on things, and they're confusing reviews with people. When you're out there telling people that supporting this product is causing harm to others, you're not offering a review of a video game. You're not. You're offering your political view on something. That for me is not a game review. My take on things. I don't know. Love to hear your thoughts. Drop them down below. I'm still just shaking my head around this because I honestly don't know how to react to this other than just to shake my head. Um, I'm going to play the game. I'm not playing it right now because I'm busy with The Last of Us replay and other things, but I am going to be playing the hell out of this game here in another month or two, and I support anybody who's out there playing it. It looks amazing. The reviews I've read are absolutely amazeballs, and I think it's worth playing. I think you should go out and buy it because there are hundreds of developers who worked on this game, and they deserve to be supported. Absolutely, they deserve your support. We should not be scorching earth because we don't agree with a creator's political views. You need to be able to separate the art from the artist. And if you can't do that, that's a you problem, not a me problem. Until next time, everybody, stay safe. And yeah, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon if you like this kind of stuff. I don't weigh in very often on political stuff on my channel. I do talk about controversial things from time to time, but this was something that stood out to me and I wanted to actually come out and talk about it because I was like, you gotta, yeah, but check out the other stuff on my channel here if you like all the things you see. Support if you can, memberships, all those things, Patreon page, Discord channel if you want to talk more with me and hang out with my wife and I. Till next time, everybody, stay safe, happy reading, happy gaming. Enjoy your Hogwarts.